experience he ever had. And then showed him that even when this is the most meaningful thing, you still can't do it. Here's your problem. And unless he solves that problem, he's not going to be able to succeed in something that he really loves. So therefore, I was going to point out as from the beginning that this is the kind of a dream which goes beyond personal boundaries. It's transcendent, transpersonal. Right? It's the goal of many great philosophers. And yet the Dream Master is putting it into a context where he can then see his own fundamental problem. So, that's the first. Now that's a great dream with an attendant opening up to show its most meaningful direction in terms of the young man's own goals and the point in his life. Yes, you have a question about it before I go on? Okay, all set? Next? All right. Next one. Tiny. Then I'll have to read it. It really starts here. This is an introduction. This comes from a written statement of a dream that was written, and I was given the dream. And this is literally the statement. Vivid in its realism, in its portrayal of life, yet today, looking at last night, I find the details that were so vivid to lack permanence in my memory. But one thing is clear, and that is its central import. That scene of splendor, but now only the scene that triggered the splendor is real. But yet, it's only a part. So this is a kind of reflection the following morning. And here is the dream itself. There's an addition later, but this is the dream. I was reading an old book, and as my eyes fell on a certain passage, and while reading, my entire body became engulfed with pure, beautiful, penetrating, clear light, such that the unknown within me was flooded with crystal light, completely transforming me. Accompanying this experience was an elevating, uplifting, vast feeling that carried me seemingly off the ground. It was not blissful enrapture or ecstatic pleasure, but a penetrating serenity which bathed everything and flooded my being. That's the dream. And this is the further material that was written that morning. I awoke and found myself in bed, calm, peaceful, not knowing which was real, being on the bed or the dream. I immediately thought that the experience could be relived. If only I could remember and recall the expression from that book, for that triggered the experience. I could again relive it. I thought over and over again this statement, and I knew I would always remember it, for it was so much like Ouspensky's quote from the Bible, "And there will be time no longer." I fell asleep again, intent upon capturing and renewing the experience. Again, I found myself in dream, he says. But in finding the statement again, the feeling returned, except I became aware that perhaps I should not try to relive it again. This was artificial, contrived. Not sure it seemed right. Yet the feeling state returned upon seeing the statement again. Only this was less intense, with an accompanying feeling of reluctance. Awoke and wondered. You shall find that there is, and the dreamer didn't know which one it was or how it ended.
Interesting.
Pardon me?
Interesting.
Yes. Yes. What was added was, it was an old stone building made out of huge stone slabs. And there was a wise man, a classic kind of wise man, strong with knowledge, it was described in the dream, pointing to a long table where there were old books. He was pointing to one, and the dreamer said that in just turning his mind to it, the words appeared from the book in my mind. So it's not like reading it, it suddenly bounced into his mind. And that was the preceding quote. Now, using what we've done before, could we not say, again, we can just change a couple of small things? All right, we can change just a few things. It's a great dream, right? Great dream. But something came up. And I didn't write 2 sentences down here I thought I'd save, because I want to have a little fun. Fair enough? All right. The dream is over here, and then I awoke and found myself in bed, calm, peaceful, not knowing which was real, being in bed or the dream. I immediately thought that the experience could be relived. If only I could remember and recall the passage, the expression from the book. For that triggered the experience. I thought it over and over again, this statement, and I knew I would always remember it. For it was so much like the Ouspensky quote from the Bible, "For there will be time no longer." What happened, you see, in the dream is the dreamer remembered this line, this part, and that was the part of the quote that was Ouspensky's, but it wasn't the part of the dream. So the dreamer associated it with the Ouspensky quote, was able to recall the Ouspensky quote, which is a quote from the Bible as well, and remember the association with it, not the original quote. Even though he's saying, oh, I will always remember it. So vivid. All right, that's the first. All right. I fell asleep again, intent about capturing and renewing the experience. Again, I found myself in the dreams, in the whatever. At this point, there are other notes in the dream statement, which is that at this point he doesn't know whether it was a dream or whether it was waking world, because he's in that twilight region between the two.